Well, I knew it was going to be cold today, but come on, snow, really? It was just 50 yesterday, and then this today. Well, at least it's not piling up. Oh well.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream. All right, so it's the next day from that little debacle that I showed you, and it looks like that it's going to turn out to be a nice day. I think we're over the hump. Now we're going to have possibly a cold snap coming a little bit later, so they say in April, around the 5th or 6th. But for the most part, we got 50s and 60s all the way up until that point. So we're going to be coming out to the camper today and doing some cleaning. The first thing I'm going to do is turn on the furnace. It was a little chilly last night. You can see right now we are at 22 degrees and 31% humidity. Last night was really dry. And of course, we got our little furnace. You can hear my blower wheel do its little squeal that it always does every year. That's typical. But yeah, I think we'll get it kind of toasty in here for us so we can get some stuff done. I thought maybe it'd be my imagination whenever I said, man, I can't believe how clean it smells in here. But Heidi, she had stepped in last night after she got off work, and the first thing she said was, boy, it smells really clean in the camper. So I'm glad it's not my imagination, because I mean, we do make sure we try to keep most stuff clean before we put it away. But you know, there's always that chance that you might have forgotten a wet washcloth somewhere, or something fell, you know, in between the couch and the wall, or something like that, and that didn't happen. So we're going to try to get this all warmed up in here. Now I do have this little heater running. Like I said, it's on high. I opened up the windows that are seeing some sun. Well, we might as well go ahead and open this window for some light. And I've got the furnace running, and we just set it on a higher temperature than what it was. And we'll see how quick this thing warms up. I mean, we've done these tests in the past, but 23.9. This way we have two heating sources and the sun. Let's see how well that helps out, or how fast it warms up. So it's 9:16 a.m. and we'll check back in an hour or so. You can see how important it is to keep the vehicles in the sun as much as possible. Look at where the shade is cast and how the frost is slowly disappearing. Again, I've said it a ton of times, and anybody who has solar knows, man, the sun's a powerful tool that can be used. Okay, so it hasn't been an hour. It was 9:16, now it's 9:56, so we're about 45 minutes. And you can see we're 63 degrees. Not bad. I could live with this. Well, 64 now. So it does a good job, these two little furnaces. And of course the sun. The sun's doing its job. So now it's time for us to do a little cleaning. I need to be doing some camping, but we've got some issues going on as far as my son and what kind of schedule he's on. And of course Heidi's working, so I don't think we can swing it. We'd love to. Looks like it's going to be really nice going in tomorrow and the next day, and yeah, well, things happen. All right, so forget the cleaning part today. It's still a little bit cold outside. It's not going to get warm till later, and we've got appointments. Heidi's going to take off later today, and then later on after that, we have our full site for our website sit down and go through. So both of us are going to be involved on that call for a while. And by then, everything will be warm, but it's also a little bit too late in the day. So we started making a mess above and beyond what we already had going on. But we got a couple things taken care of. Now, I've never been able to do trim worth a darn, and we've got some touching up we need to do to the cabinets back here, maybe some painting possibly. But this piece of trim I just added because it's something we had laying around, and the piece of trim that I had in there was some really cheap trim, like this here. The problem is it needed to support the two pieces of wood on a spot that only had trusses that were running across this way, not long way. So got that taken care of, and it's been like that for a long time, that thing's been falling down and hanging down. You can probably see it in some of my older videos. And same with this piece here. This piece didn't have a piece of trim from the factory, it's just a piece of tape. But from whenever the camper was damaged originally, from water damage, it came loose. The paneling did on a truss. This is a truss that runs this entire length. So we finally added a piece of trim up there, like we did in the bathroom. Let me show you in there. Now in the bathroom here, this piece of trim, I did that a long time ago. We did that when we first got the camper. Again, because the panel, the roof panel, was separating from the truss that it was supported to. So that's taken care of. And it's real nice and warm in here. I had to turn the furnace down. We're at 72. And it's pretty pleasant, huh?
It doesn't feel warm in here.
It is warm in here. Well, you don't have socks on.
No.
And you got a jacket on. Oh, you got 2 jackets on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're just making a list in the camper of stuff that we need. What do you think about the list? We're taking...
Be busy.
Yeah, she's right. We're going to be busy. A lot, really busy, I can tell. So, of course, this carpet's going to get ripped out, tore out at some point. And we're doing measuring here of what we can get away with. The chair would have to be really small. We don't even think we can get a recliner of any kind. It'll probably just have to be a swivel rocker, possibly. We also talked about maybe getting some sort of a bolt to the floor type pedestal mount swivel that, you know, RVs have, or vans, or maybe just one of those round base chairs. We also talked about getting rid of this cabinet and everything that's in it, and we have stuff that's in there that could actually probably all fit in this cabinet right here without much trouble. And then getting rid of this countertop where the TV sits and putting in a dinette booth half, and putting in another flip-up table for Heidi then on that side. That's still out to jury, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because this is going to be her seat. Now, if we did that, you can tell that this counter space, the whole reason it's here is because of the TV, and that's where it normally connects. But what I would do is, now that we would be sitting primarily, I would be here and she would be here, we would put a TV up here in this corner, which wouldn't be too difficult to do, I don't think.
Or I'll just get a footstool.
Footstool there?
Yeah.
Yeah, she could get just the footstool there.
Maybe that's what we'll do.
Problem is, I got to walk around the footstool every time I get to the computer. That's kind of a pain. And then the TV in the back, we need to get a couple 12-volt TVs, because we just have normal household TVs, which are fine. But we're going to utilize our T-Mobile binge on as much as possible whenever we're out, I'm sure. So this little shelf here is probably going to be history. But the nice thing is this little shelf then could be bolted somewhere else in the camper that might, you know, make a little bit more sense. For example, Heidi needs counter space in the kitchen here, so I could easily remove this radio and put it lower or somewhere else, and we would have counter space. Or the other thing we was talking about counter space, it would be nothing more than me pulling this sink out and this countertop out and putting in a much smaller sink. We really don't need this big of a sink. We only want half of that. So if we could have just half of this sink, we gain that much counter space, and it'd be in a good spot. It'd be to the left of the stove and to the right of the sink, so it would work. It would just work. So that's something else we could do. Like I said the other day, sitting on the couch in here, you know, there's so many upgrades we could do to this camper. I mean, there's just a lot. We don't want to go crazy, though, because eventually down the road we'll be moving into another camper, like everybody kind of does. So we'll just take our time, and as the bug bites us, we'll deal with it at that point. All right, so that's all we're going to be able to do today, because we got a lot of stuff to do elsewhere. This is typical spring stuff. Heidi's getting ready to clean in the kitchen here, so as always, we hope to see you out there.
Bye.
Bye.